What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you part 2 of the best of 2025. Forgive the long delay, but there was a long list of records I wanted to go through. There's a ton of EPs that I actually made a third video for. I don't have a lot of hard copies of the EPs, but at least these I have hard copies of, except for one band, two bands actually, and I can't find them. I ordered them, I played them exhaustingly, and I can't find them anywhere. And I've played them exhaustingly, and I can't figure out where the copies are. So we'll get to those, but let's go ahead and let's drop down to part 2. Best of 2025, Bleeding Through, 9. Unbelievable record, especially coming off of Sharp Tone, which Sharp Tone I feel like has really muddied the waters when it comes to music lately. A lot of the bands are really starting to sound the same. I love Kingdom of Giants, what their older stuff was, but now that everything's on Sharp Tone, everything is just like power chords, really obscure, genty sounding breakdowns, and same core. Like a lot of heavy electronic emphasis, and it's really changing the sound of a lot of bands that I truly admired. Kingdom of Giants, Of Mice and Men, I feel like being on Sharp Tone has really changed a lot of bands. Thankfully, they have not been able to touch August Burns Red, and they have not changed a thing on this record. I got a chance to see them at Sonic Temple Festival this year. They absolutely blew me away. And they brought on Brian Fair of Shadows Fall to play on this record. And that track is outstanding. Not only did they bring on Brian Fair, which is Wartime, by the way, they also brought on Doc from God Forbid. And then they brought on Andrew Newfield. I love every track on this album, but I would say my favorite one, just because the melody is so haunting and sad and dark. I love the song Emery. And I would say if I were to pick 3 tracks, oh man, it's so hard. I would probably have to say Wartime, Emery, and then probably Lost in Isolation, or would probably be like my favorite tracks on the record. But this band has not lost a beat. They've been around a long time. They're in that OG era of new wave of American heavy metal, metalcore, whatever genre you want to pick them in, but this is in that era of bands that I truly love, especially when you're thinking about like the early Trust Kill bands and Ferret Records and like what this band was doing and how this band changed the scene. I've seen them many times and I was very blessed to see them at Sonic Temple. Check this record out. You will not be disappointed. Now this, I do not have the copy of, and it's really annoying me, but it's on the way. And this is another band that throughout the discography, I've loved what they've done, but this record was such a return to form, and I really love what they did with it, especially making me feel like the old-fashioned, and that's Amorphous. Now, this is Am Universum. The reason I chose this record, one, because the record is not in my hands as of currently, but the record itself reminds me so much of Am Universum era Amorphous. A little bit of Tuvo Nella, a lot of like, oh my gosh, Skyforger, especially, I would say, is like the biggest influence, I think, on their newest record. A lot of Skyforger era Amorphous, which is one of my favorites, and then a lot of elements of Am Universum. So the newest Amorphous record, if you have not checked it out, please do. It's incredible. It's better than the last 4 albums. I love what they've done, but I think this is better than Circle and The Bee and all of those things. I think this blows those out of the water. All those tracks, albums that they've done. I think their newest record is probably the best that they've done. Probably since... This is my favorite record since Skyforger. Let's put it that way. So you can kind of tell what era of Amorphous I truly love. This reminds me so much of that. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, so I'm going to back it up with creating a much better band. Well, not better, but they're all great. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I truly love... No, you know what? I'm not going to catch flack for this. This came out last year. Don't worry about it. We're not going to talk about that one, so no flack needed. So I'm going to disappoint you here for a second. I bought the album the day it came out at Rust and Wax Records in West Palm Beach. I drove way out of my way, like hours to get there, and I bought it. I love it, and I don't have it because I can't find it. Ossuary Lens by Allegiant. It's one of the best records of 2025. I wish I could show you the freaking record, but you know what? Let's do this. This is actually a different album, but I'm going to show you this and make you pretend that we're watching The Ossuary Lens by Allegiant. It is such a dark, melancholic, melodic, but grossly like progressive death metal, tech death album. It just blew me away. And these guys are so freaking talented, and I truly loved what they did with this record. And if you haven't heard Allegiant's newest album, please go play it like as soon as this video is over with. It is just a tour de force of mastery, like some of the greatest musicians of our time creating one of the best records of our time. And I'm apologizing deeply and emotionally because I don't have the record to show you. It's somewhere behind me, and when I moved, I swear to God, it's in one of my cases, but I don't have anything alphabetically organized because I haven't had time since I moved. So unfortunately, it's behind me, and I can't find it. It's really pissing me off because it sounds incredible on vinyl. But please, for the love of God, if you're going to listen to any of these records, other than a couple that I'm about to show you, please play The Ossuary Lens by Allegiant, and disregard the last album I was going to show you, so don't worry about that one. Next one came out on my birthday. Well, no, it did not come out on my birthday. It was delivered on my birthday after I pre-ordered it. Despised Icon, Shadow Work, return of the OGs, the big four of deathcore, a tour de force of ferocity and just bestial madness. Unreal. Please play this. If you're into any kind of deathcore, the original OG deathcore, please play Shadow Work by Despised Icon on Nuclear Blast Records. Unreal. I have not had the opportunity to see these guys now that they're redoing stuff. They've been through Tampa, they've been through a lot of parts of Florida, and I hope to God I get to see them again soon. Freaking real, brutal, incredible deathcore. You got Brie, you got Blech, you got Whoa, you've got Fuck. What an incredible album. What do we got? That's bleeding through. What do we got next? Oh yeah, this is the other one I was going to say. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this one, but I think with the new lead singer, it's incredible. This is Pantheon by Dance Gavin Dance. If you don't like this kind of music, you already know you're probably not going to like this album. However, I will say this. This is an excellent return to form for this band. This sounds so much better than anything they ever did with Tillian. Picking up their newest lead vocalist who changed over to clean vocals, having him pick up where they left off and really bringing back actually a reasonable degree of ferocity to this band. The weird arpeggios, the crazy dissonant chords, just the madness that is Dance Gavin Dance. This record brings it back, and I think picking up oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I have to... is his name on here? Oh yeah, so Andrew Wells, his previous band, who is also incredible, name currently escapes me, but picking up Andrew Wells, putting him on clean vocals, just unreal. Wow, incredible new record. So if you haven't checked it and you're curious about it, I think this is a good one to start. This reminds me so much of Johnny Craig and Kurt era Dance Gavin Dance. Away with you, Tillian. We don't need any of that anymore. This is the new era of Dance Gavin Dance, and I truly, truly love this record. Now, this is a compilation. I have mentioned this on one of my previous videos, but this is The Dogs of Hope, a benefit for shelter animals. This actually has an unreleased track for Killswitch Engage. They wrote specifically for this, but it's all about the side band, like the main bands that and artists that put together this record. I think this is one of my favorite albums of this year. And not just because we were lucky to get a new Killswitch song, but we got Orange 9mm, Death Ray Vision. You got Alex Skolnick on here. You got Snapcase. I mean, this is like... I mean, you got Enforced. You got... wow. Like, just an incredible punk, hardcore, screamo violence era type record, all pieced together by a bunch of different bands. Unreal. It's really great. And it did come on hot pink vinyl, which I thought that was pretty rad, actually, but look at that. So if you have not checked that out, just the bands alone might make you interested. Again, my apologies to Allegiant. I really wish I had the record on here right now. Now, this it's been a goal of mine to collect all their albums, and they did re-release an album that was like a huge bucket list out record for me. And they released 2 albums this year that were basically previous recordings of different eras of the band. This is the one-man project, Panopticon. And this is Songs of Wraith. If you like Panopticon, and there's any copies of these left, this and Laurentian Blue, get them if you can, man. I mean, it really is like a crazy love letter to the fans of Panopticon to have these albums. And you know what? It's dismal. It's black metal recording. It sounds like it was recording on a 5-year-old kaleidoscope. But the melodic stuff, the amount of instruments he pulls, this album, it makes you feel like you're alone in an audience in a big auditorium. It's just you sitting in the center, and the band is just playing a wall of sound to you, and that's how these albums feel. So after a while, you forget that it still has that black metal sound where it sounds like it was recorded, like I said, like on a kaleidoscope, something that makes absolutely no sense. So he does bring in that black metal type sound, but you forget about it very quickly because of the amount of instruments and how talented this guy is. So Songs of Wraith, Lynch Blue, if you haven't played these yet, try to find a way. I think so because of the amount of social things that are going on, the main guy basically took all of his tracks off of Spotify, I guess because there was something ice related on Spotify, like ads or something. So he took all of his things off of there until Spotify takes them down. I don't know if we'll get those tracks back on Spotify again, but I guess this is just now is the time as ever to pick up hard copies of stuff. I mean, you know, SJW stuff, whatever, who cares? The guy's an incredible artist. I enjoy his stuff. And he really did create some incredible records. And a lot of his stuff is all about, you know, where he is in Minnesota and Kentucky and all that stuff. So, like, you really do feel like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to bother with that right now. So, Panopticon, if you don't know it, you should. We are very, very lucky to have somebody like him to play these kinds of tunes. So, where are we at next? Oh, yeah. Oh, man. This record makes me so happy. I've posted on some of my shorts a couple times. And Revocation, New Gods, New Masters. Unreal, man. Unreal record. Tech death, progressive death metal. I've had the wonderful opportunity to go see them. They opened up for Cannibal Corpse. Got one of their guitar picks. This is another group where I say, like, we're very, very fortunate to live in a time where we have artists this incredible that create this kind of music. It's fantastic. You're not going to get a lot of, pretty feel-good melody stuff on here. This is just really progressive death metal, tech death, and some of the greatest artists of our time are playing right now. So we're very, very fortunate to have this band. So Revocation, New Gods, New Masters. Now this, I don't buy a lot of stuff of RPM Records, and actually this just came in the mail a little while ago because it's on sale for like $17 on Amazon. And it is a great album. I don't know why it's so cheap, but we're very, very lucky that it's cheap right now. Brainstorm, Plague of Rats, Power Metal, Unreal. Really a fantastic album. And I was very, very fortunate that this was so reasonably priced. It's $17 on Amazon, brand new, never before opened. Incredible. Tracks, I mean, all of them. That's all I can say. Now, I will say there's something pretty cool about this. There's a lot of guest vocals. There's a female backup vocalist on the Your Soul That Lingers in Me. But the last 2 tracks are, so worth the ebbs and flows of the album and getting to the final end. But I loved Beyond Enemy Lines. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's the very first one too. But when you get into Crawling and Curtains Fall, 9 and 10, it's a tour de force. And it really takes you through a whole journey, the last 2 tracks. So if you haven't played this, this is a good place to start. Especially if you want some good power metal out of 2025. Good old-fashioned caveman Neanderthal chug death metal. Scorching Tomb. The Death Doom metalhead got me onto this when he started playing these guys, and I realized they, the basically one of the first tracks features the lead vocalist from Sanguisugabog. And this is exactly just what I wanted. This is caveman Neanderthal chug miss death metal. New York style death metal with a bunch of just brrr, big, angry Cookie Monster vocals and chugs. And that's just what I needed. Bang your fucking head. Scorching Tomb. The ossuary. There's a lot of ossuaries out this year, by the way, but this is the big one. Play it. If you like Gatecreeper, if you like New York death metal, freaking play this. You need to. You need it in your life. Bite on it. Chew it. This does not come out in 2025. This actually came out last year, but I want to show it anyway. Boundaries. Death is a Little More. Came out last year. Just play it. It's just a great album. Now, getting down to the nitty gritty, let's talk about my boys. My boy Phil. And rest in peace, Ollie. But we'll come back. All That Remains. One of the best albums of 2025. Easily my top 5. I love it. Next to Allegiant, this is right up there, man. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Return to form. None of the bullshit that was on the Madness record. Just this. Just straight up All That Remains. No pop. No gimmicks. No bullshit. Good old-fashioned All That Remains. Coming to brighten your beautiful day. What an incredible album. Easily top 5 of, like I've said on multiple videos, the smartest thing they ever did was getting Richardson to play lead guitar for this band, and what a difference he made to this band. Just an incredible guitarist. He's no longer in the band. He's doing something else, and now they just got another lead guitarist back in the band just recently, who actually knew Ollie very well in the Massachusetts metal scene. So, Anti-Fragile, All That Remains, unreal album. I would say, God, they're all so good. Oh, they're all so good. The opening track, Divine, was their single, and it just made me feel. It made me feel. It reminded me of the day I first heard of All That Remains, the day I ever first saw them. It just reminded me of, God, the Fall of Ideals, man. If you want to hear an album that is the Fall of Ideals era, All That Remains, this is the closest you are ever going to get. And I would say if you want to feel that way, you want to feel like you're listening to the Fall of Ideals, Forever Cold, The Piper, No Tomorrow, Kerosene, Divine, everything on here just makes me feel the way I want to feel. So, All That Remains, Anti-Fragile, spin that shit. Now, I might get a little bit of shit for this. And you know what? I love what this band did with this record, because it's this seeing red core is basically this new era where bands that went soft sounded like shit for 2 albums and all of a sudden come back pissed off because all their fans are pissed off. The newest from Architects UK, The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. I would say this is the closest we're going to get to like Hollow Crown, and because I don't think they're ever going to go that way ever again. My introduction to Architects was Ruin and Hollow Crown, and we're never going to get that era ever again, but this is probably the closest. Unfortunately, with their lead guitarist passing away, we're never going to get those lead guitars that I've always really wanted out of this band. Since the last record that finished him, 3 albums ago, we've never had those leads ever again, unfortunately. But this is close. This is closest to what I've wanted from Architects. I really did not like Broken Spirit at all. I think it's just a throwaway album. I didn't think it was written very well. It didn't sound good. This band really turned into like this Bring Me the Horizon like masturbation fest, and I haven't really enjoyed Bring Me the Horizon in a long time, and I don't think a lot of metalheads have. I mean, we enjoyed the deathcore era of this band, and Sempiternal was great, but this band has really been trying to do the Bring Me the Horizon thing with the heavy electronics, the pop-sounding vocals, the pop melodies, and it hasn't been enjoyable for me, and I really did not like Classic Symptoms of Broken Spirit. I didn't enjoy it at all, but this is close. This is the closest I think we're going to get to like Ruin, Hollow Crown, and there's a lot of great tracks on here, but there is still a little bit of pop on there, which sometimes I'm tempted to skip songs like Landmines is very poppy. Like, there's some good screaming parts, but the melodies are losing that dark side that I used to love from this band, and I'd say Landmines is still very poppy. But what made me happy was there was like a old school 90s hardcore, just speed, like a speedcore song, and that's basically Brain Dead. It reminds me a lot of the Seventh Circle from a couple albums ago, and I think hearing that made me love this album. So it is well made, it's well written, you get plenty of tracks. There is the Seeing Red comeback song, Curse is great, Whiplash is great, and I think hearing Seeing Red, hearing, you know, the deep guttural vocals again, and then just having Carter just go berserk on everybody in this album really made me enjoy it. So I might get a little bit of shit for it, but I enjoy it. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I'm probably going to get shit for this too, but I freaking love this album. This is Gallows by Bless the Fall. This is an excellent return to form for this band. And, you know, I did not like the Pink album, and, you know, I'm probably going to get some shit for this, but, like, I did not enjoy the Pink album at all. I thought Sakura Blues was alright, but I really didn't enjoy it. And, you know, I was kind of glad the band took a break because I really wasn't into what they were doing. But this is fantastic. This is a great album by Bless the Fall. It has got still Bo's kind of poppier, girlier, higher sounding voice, but even his voice toned down a little bit. They made this album dark, pissed, and angry, like the little ghost on the front. And every song is so intricately and well written and meaningful. Interesting thing though was when they came out with Mallcore and Wake the Dead, I said, I've heard these melodies before, and you know why? The melodies and the guitar licks that were written sound so much like In Dying Arms and their self-titled album. Now, granted, In Dying Arms is like deathcore. It's like melodic deathcore with some really good cleans. And the melodies they chose sounded almost like they copied off of that album. So I was like, maybe that's why I love the album so much. But if you haven't checked it, it's a good time, man. The newest Bless the Fall record, it's a blast. You already know if you kind of like this kind of music or not, but you know, just whatever you want to call it, Warped Tour era metalcore, I'm here for it, man. Brings back some good memories for me. So there's so many other albums I could spend talking about, and like I said, there's a lot of EPs that came out this year. But if I'm going to mention one album, my number one album this year, my number one most played album of this year, next to probably Allegiant, All That Remains, Bleeding Through, and Amorphous, and many, many others like the Acacia Strain. If I'm going to mention one band, one record that I played the most out of everything else on this list, it came up as my number one played album on Spotify. This Consequence by Killswitch Engage. Who could have seen that coming? It's the GOAT. Probably next to Parabellum by Testament. My favorite album in 2025. GOAT. Just, that's it, man. It was my favorite album this year. It is my number one. I saved it for last, and I get goosebumps every time I play this record. This reminds me so much of like Times of Grace mixed with Alive or Just Breathing era Killswitch Engage, and a little bit of like, you know, Daylight Dies era Killswitch Engage. And it's just unbelievable, man. What an unbelievable record. My favorite track, it really, like, there's so many good ones on here, but my favorite track is Aftermath. Aftermath gave me so many goosebumps, made me tear up a little bit because of the melodies, especially at the very end with, you know, Adam and Jesse coming together and doing their Times of Grace type cleans together. And then they played it live at Sonic Temple. I teared up. So, my favorite album of this year, I made you guys wait to the end, but it's just a beautiful album. It reminds me so much of everything I love about this band. And we were so lucky 2025 to have so many great albums, so many great bands, and we were very lucky that a lot of our favorite bands are still with us. And there's so many other bands and records I could talk about. I could make 20 videos about the amount of death metal and prog and everything that came out this year. Power metal, black metal, everything that came out this year. Blut aus Nord came out with an incredible return album, and I don't have it to show you guys, but this was my favorite one this year. So that's it from me for right now. There's so many other things we could talk about, but that was my favorite record of 2025. These are some of my favorite albums of this year. I hope you guys had a wonderful year regarding music. I hope that you guys can share some of the records that you guys loved and share them with me. Tell me what you guys loved. If you hated some of the albums on this list, I'd be dying to know. I'm curious which ones you guys love, which ones you guys hate. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope 2026 brings you guys a wonderful, wonderful year with many blessings. I hope you guys are all healthy. I hope you guys are all happy. If you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm right here. Let's talk metal. And you know what? 2025 was great. Great year for music, great year for metal. I hope you guys are all doing well. Take care of each other. Peace.